Good morning. Today we're going to talk about the second conditional. First of all, let's recap on the zero and the first conditionals. The zero conditional is formed by taking if with a present tense, and the result is in the present tense. We use it for facts and general truths, perhaps habits, routines. For example, if you don't water plants, they die. The first conditional is also formed with if and the present tense, but this time the result is in the future. We use this for real possibilities in the near future. For example, if it rains tomorrow, I will stay at home. The second conditional is formed with if and the past tense instead of the present. And the result this time is formed typically using would with the infinitive. It's used for unlikely, impossible, or an imaginary situation in the present, at the moment. For example, if I had more money, I would travel, but I don't have more money, so I can't travel right now. If you were me, what would you do? Now that's totally imaginary because you aren't me and you're never going to be me. Looking at these examples, if Joe had more money, if I knew his address, these are the condition clauses. Okay, these are not true in the present. Joe doesn't have more money. I don't know his address. The result clause, he would buy a big house. I would send him a card. These are true only if the first part is true, which it's not. We can contract would by using an apostrophe and d. So he'd for he would, I'd for I would. So the first part of a sentence, the if clause, is formed using the past tense, any past tense. The result clause or the main clause is usually formed with would plus the infinitive, but instead of would, we can use might or could. We can also change the parts of the sentence around and use the result clause first, followed by the condition clause, in which case we don't use a comma. Would is used when the result is more certain. If Sam asked Sarah to dance, she would say yes. Might is when the result is less certain. It may or may not happen. If Sam asked Sarah to dance, she might say yes, or she might say no. Whereas could is used to talk about possibilities or abilities. If I had $1 million, I could buy a private jet. I could live in a castle. I could travel the world. So many possibilities. Now, which one is correct? If I was wealthy, I wouldn't need to work. If I were wealthy, I wouldn't need to work. This example. If Tom was here, he would help us. If Tom were here, he would help us. Which is right? I've heard both. Well, in the second conditional, we use were for both the singular and the plural. So it should be, if I were wealthy, I wouldn't need to work. If Tom were here, he would help us. Now, yes, you have heard both. It is becoming more common to use was instead of were, but it's best to stick to were, especially in formal situations, especially if you are writing this or using it in an exam. Was is becoming more normal, but that doesn't make it correct. Not yet, anyway. Perhaps one day in the future it will be. The language is constantly evolving. Rules are constantly changing. One day it might become normal. Now, which do we use, the first or second conditional? If we look at this example, if Laura runs fast, she will get there in time. This is possible. It might happen. But if we look at this example, if Laura ran fast, she would get there in time. This is not likely to happen because Laura doesn't run fast. Do you see the difference? Both conditionals refer to the present or the near future. The first conditional is for real and possible situations, but the second conditional is not likely to happen. Thank you for watching.